Hi, I'm Kathy Anderson, Extension Horse Specialist here at the University of Nebraska. And today's What to Know Wednesday is going to be about banding your horse's mane. So I'm going to start here with DT on his mane. And the first thing I'm going to show you is a little bit just how to shorten it. Sometimes you need to do that, sometimes you don't. And I will tell you that everybody's going to have all kind of little different tricks that work for them. And I'm just going to show you some techniques that I've been using over the year. So I'm going to have some kind of stool to stand on because the horses are usually quite a bit taller than me. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take kind of a fine comb and comb his mane out. And DT's mane here is in pretty good shape, but I am going to go ahead and shorten it just a little bit. And we don't really pull manes anymore. I really just kind of use some scissors to do so. So what I'm going to do is take a few fingers, and I want this mane to be about three fingers in length, all right? So I'm going to use that as a little bit of a guide and take his mane up here and pull it straight up and go ahead and trim it. Now, if you pay attention to people that are cutting your hair, if they pull it straight up, when it comes down, then it is layered, okay? And so I will use the first cut as a guide to my next cut and bring up with my fingers here and go ahead and snip that to even it up a little bit. Bring it on down. Same thing here as I'll kind of work down his mane and just snip that out over so it is all pretty much even. And I'll just do a little bit of it here. We don't need to go through the entire mane for you guys. Now, I will go back after the mane has been banded and we'll kind of make some fine adjustments to it. So if you can hand me the liquid, the spray, okay? So one thing I like to use is one of these banding aids that just helps, one, with the mane laid down. Also, this is not slick, and so I found that it's just one of the products that does help me when I band. Some people will use nothing, some people put water on it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and spray just a little bit onto his mane, and I'll spray it all the way down and kind of rub it in. And that's just going to help me control the hair as I do go ahead and go in there and start to band it. All right, so now a few little tools that I'm going to have are really my comb, and I like to use a little fine comb, a clamp here, which I'll initially just clamp onto part of his mane, okay, and then some of the bands, okay? And I'll tell you, I'll leave them in my hand for our purposes today. Very honestly, I usually stick them in my mouth. Some people have little pouches that they have. Everybody will do it just a little bit different. But I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just stick these on my finger so I can continue to talk. So I'm gonna go ahead up here and comb his mane down and then take and make a small part, lay this portion back, and then put my clamp on that portion, okay? Stick my comb in his mane, and then I'll come in here and just make a bunch of little ponytails, and I'm going to do this fairly tight so it stays in. And it's important that you take one wrap and put it above the other. So I'll make a wrap and then bring it up towards the base of his neck. And this is one thing that helps these bands lay over to the side. And so just like so, and try to smooth it out. Then I'll just go to the very next one, and I'll make a part, try to make these pretty much the same thickness. DT's mane here, especially at the top, is very thin, so you will see you will make some adjustments for the thickness of that horse's mane as you go through and do this. So again, I'm going to make a wrap, take it to the top, make a wrap, take it to the top, twist it, take it up towards the crest of his neck, the base of his neck, and just do it however many times it takes so it's fairly tight, all right? And you can kind of see it laying over like so. And I'll just do a few more here as we work down his mane. And his mane is so thin that you don't have to do these super close together, because particularly here at the top, it's fairly thin. You'll see as a lot of horses, as you move down their neck, the thickness of the hair might change. And so up at the top, closest to their ears, it might be kind of thin. When you get down more towards the center, it might be a little bit thicker. And I'll just do about one or two more here. And DT is a really good guy here. It's really nice if they stand as nice and quiet as he is. Many of the horses will kind of tend to take a nap. If you're doing something like a yearling, a 2-year-old that hasn't had this done much, it might get a little irritating because they might not stand very good. And so sometimes you have to have somebody actually hold them, because it's really hard to do this if they're, say, a moving target. And if they don't lay really flat, then I'll go to the underside and spread the hairs just a little bit to help them stay down and flat on that horse's neck. And I'm going to just do, say, 1 or 2 more and kind of show you how we might finish it up just a little bit. So again, the key, part of the key is you do a wrap and take it up, and a wrap and take it up. Again, a lot of people have some little different tricks that they use. I always try to look at other people's manes and kind of see how they do. You want the bands to be fairly even, okay? Kind of make a nice line. So it looks like a very neat job. This will be the last one we're going to do right here. And just the same kind of thing. And if you look close, you can see that his mane actually is starting to get a little bit thicker as we work down. And that's just going to be the factor of the horse, and you just kind of will adjust how you make your parts a little bit depending on the thickness of his mane. Okay, so now what I would do after I'd gone through and done the whole mane is I would either take my regular scissors here and just trim it up a little bit, okay, to make it nice and even. If you hand me those other scissors there. I also have some thinning shears, okay, as these, and sometimes I'll use these because it might not be quite as straight a cut, might look a little bit more natural with going along and evening up like so, because I want this to be a nice even line. The last couple steps that I would do with a banding job, we don't always put a lot of products. Some people will put some other products on there, such as some mousse and that to help them lay over. And then it's really nice if you have what we call a slinky, which are those little hood types of things that would fit over them. And a tight fitting slinky is going to do a nice job of keeping that mane laying down nice and flat. Also, when your horse lays down, you're not going to get a lot of shavings and things on it. The other important thing is when you're finished, for whatever reason, finished with your show or whatever, make sure that you do take the bands out, okay? And you can just pull them with your hands. So I'll take with the braids and just pull them down, okay, and pull them out. You can get little devices that you can actually come in and just cut the bands. But if you're like at a 2-day event, you can leave them in from one day to the next. For multiple days, they're probably not going to look very good. And you do need to take them out, because what will happen if you don't is the hairs will begin to break off. And so the next time you do it, it's not going to look very good. So that's just a little banding a horse's mane. And thank you for today's What to Know Wednesday.